Good afternoon. This is the midday news on Glow 99.1 FM Ijakwa State, Korea. My name is Mike Alim Obafemi. The highlights. Tinubu calls for unconditional release of Sudan's first vice president. National Assembly cuts recess over presidential polls. African Union leaders redefine genocide against Africans. Details in a moment.
This is Glow FM News. Accurate, balanced, and fresh.
President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to the implementation of a revitalized peace agreement in South Sudan, urging the immediate and unconditional release of the country's first vice president, Riek Machar, and other key opposition figures. The pledge was made in a statement signed by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communication Office of the Vice President Stanley Nwacha. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented Nigerian President Bola Tinubu during the African Union High-Level Ad Hoc Committee for South Sudan called the C5 Plus Summit held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, calls for more synergy between African countries. The National Assembly has announced that it would reconvene its plenary session on Tuesday, February 2000 and February 17, 2026, cutting short its recess amid indications that lawmakers may review the date for the 2027 presidential election. Reports reveal that the National Assembly may shift the presidential poll to February 13, 2027. In a notice signed by the clerk of the National Assembly, Kamaru Ogunlana, senators and members of the House of Representatives were directed to resume sitting at 11 a.m. and adjust their schedules accordingly, as crucial decisions are expected to be taken during this session. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs has urged Muslims across the country to search for the crescent of Ramadan immediately after sunset on Tuesday, February 17, 2026, corresponding to 29 Shahaban 1447 AH. Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the NSCIA, Mohammed Abubakar, made a declaration at a press statement signed by the Secretary General of the NSCIA, Ishaq Oloyede. The council said the crescent should be observed after sunset on the specified date, noting that the National Moon Sighting Committee, in consultation with the National Space Research and Development Agency, has put facilities in place to monitor and report credible sightings. The statement says if the crescent is sighted on Tuesday evening, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the body will declare Wednesday, February 18, 2026, as the first day of Ramadan 1447 AH. The Nigeria Forest Security Service NFSS Assistant Commander General, Finance Abuja Akinwale Aluko, has urged the government to empower the service to enable it to serve the nation more effectively. Aluko, who made the call in Akure during the nationwide summit organized to train members across the country, commended the federal government and the body Commander General Joshua Osatimehin, noting that constant training and retraining will equip personnel to perform their duties efficiently.
Federal government, our own boss, person of Ambassador Joshua Osatimehin, is the pioneer CG of this organization and is one that organizes this program for us so that we can interact with DSS, so that we know what we are supposed to do and what we are not supposed to do. Though our bill has been passed by the Senate and House of Rep but we are awaiting the assent of the bill. So in that situation, we are being restricted to certain things to be done. It is better if we continue with this habit of training. And if federal governments can accept us the way they are supposed to, I know we are going for more training. I know we are going for a full training that will give us the knowledge to carry out this job.
The Assistant Commander General also advised the body and members to operate strictly within the confines of the law while carrying out their responsibilities.
I will only tell our boys to do within the law. They should not do outside the law. Whatever they want to do should be within the framework of the organization. The aim and objective of the organization: arresting, prosecuting, beating, assaulting people, is not our work. Our own is to gather information, give it to the required parastatal, and if they need our assistance to enter that area, we follow them.
Earlier, a district superintendent of the service, Michael Nwafo, emphasized the importance of quality intelligence gathering in suspected cases of security breaches, as well as early preparations in addressing potential threats.
Attention to details. You should be interested in the details of any information or incident that if there's a breach of security, what is expected of you? What are the details you give that can lead to further investigation or can lead to arrest? Those are the core of intelligence gathering. Practice, and more practice to be used to it. So when there's an attack, for your consciousness to say, this is how to engage, this is the people that will evacuate. Your first thing that comes to mind is to run. That's just the truth. Or except you practice and practice and practice.
The summit-themed intelligence-driven operations was organized by the Commander General Joshua Satime as part of effort to strengthen the operational capacity of the service nationwide. You are listening to the Midday News on Glow 99.1 FM Ijapwe State, Akure. Still to come on the other side of the bulletin, African Union leaders redefine genocide against Africans. Please stay with us.
This is Glow FM News. Accurate, balanced, and fresh.
Right, you're welcome back. You're still listening to the Midday News on Glow 99.1 FM Ijapwe State, Akure. You can connect with us via our website on www.glowfmradio.com, or X handle at Glow 991 FM, Facebook Glow 99.1 FM, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Glow 991 FM. Glow FM application is also available on Google Play Store. You can also listen to us live via Radio Garden. Now to the rest of the bulletin. African Union leaders meeting at a two-day summit in Addis Ababa have adopted a resolution that describes slavery, deportation, and colonialism as genocide and crimes against the people of Africa. Reports has it that the chairman, Mahamadou Yusuf, also called for an end to the extermination of the Palestinian people. However, members state have agreed to designate November 30th as the African Day of tribute to African martyrs and victims of the transatlantic slave trade, colonization, and apartheid. Elsewhere, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the U.S. must require Iran to relinquish all its enriched uranium and be barred from enriching more. As part of any nuclear deal Tehran wants, he outlined several conditions he wanted, including that all enriched material has to leave Iran and that there should be no enrichment capability. His comments come as Iranian and U.S. officials prepare for a second round of talks in Switzerland on Tuesday. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Majid Ravenchi said Iran will consider compromises to reach a nuclear deal if the U.S. is willing to discuss lifting sanctions. Now to sports. Silver Eagles of Nigeria will take on Jordan in an international friendly in Amman in March of this year. Report says Jordan would use the friendly match as part of their preparations for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. However, Nigeria's availability for the game will depend on FIFA's impending ruling on Nigeria's eligibility protests against the Democratic Republic of Congo. Meanwhile, the West Africans are also in talks with Iran for another friendly slated for March this year, just as Jordan will be making their maiden World Cup appearance this summer. To end the midday news on Glow 99.1 FM, Ijapwe State, Akure. Here's a recap of our major stories. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement in South Sudan, urging the immediate and unconditional release of the country's first Vice President, Riek Machar, and other key opposition figures. The National Assembly has announced that it would reconvene its plenary session on Tuesday, February 17, 2026, cutting short its recess amid indications that lawmakers may review the date set for the 2027 presidential poll. African Union leaders are meeting at a two-day summit in Addis Ababa have adopted a resolution that describes slavery, deportation, and colonialism as genocide and crimes against the people of Africa. That was the midday news on Glow 99.1 FM, Ijapwe State, Korea's edited by Comfort Omolafe. My name is Mike Alim Obafemi. Many thanks for listening. Good afternoon. God bless Nigeria.
99.1 FM, Ijapo, Akure.